Battery 91%. That's after just over 2 years. And here we are. This is the Apple Watch Ultra, the original first version of it. And I'm just going to give you a few thoughts on this in a 2-year review. I mean, first of all, metaphorically speaking, I'll be quite prepared to kick this Apple Watch Ultra into the proverbial dustbin in 5 years' time. The reason being, it's been such a high utility watch. I can't imagine getting rid of this before it stops being supported by Apple. Maybe that's 5 years, maybe it's 6 years, who knows. But I can't imagine getting another one. You know, it's so good. I mean, first of all, it's so durable. I took the Apple insurance out, you know, on it, and just look at that, no damage whatsoever. If you just look very carefully at that corner there, you might just see a little bit of tiny abrasion. And I think I've done that by literally tapping on cash machines, you know, tapping on the electronic payment devices inside various establishments. I mean, I've bought thousands of things with it, you know, hundreds of cups of coffee. You know, I've bought everything online with it, and so on, you know, booked holidays on it, touched innumerable terminals, electronic terminals, and here it is. I never set the battery to 80%. I mean, my view on these things is you just use them, you know, use them thoroughly. If it needs a new battery at some point during my time, which it probably will, I'll just get a new battery fitted. Now let's talk about the fitness side of things. I mean, first of all, bearing in mind that I'm on the approach to 80 years old, I'm 76 very shortly. So what about the fitness on this thing? Now, first of all, I had the fitness turned on. I used to sort of run, train with it, and so on. I do about 4,000 to 5,000 steps on an average day. But if I was actually out exercising, I'd do 10, 12, 14, sometimes 16,000 steps. I'd wear it at night time while I was sleeping. And follow all the metrics on there. An interesting thing was during the COVID pandemic, I was wearing this right at the end of that, and after it had ended, I was still getting COVID infections. That's because my wife works in a care setting, so part of my duties as a husband, you know, is to wash her clothes when she comes home. Comes home on a late shift, has to go back on early morning. It's my job to actually wash her uniform and get that cleaned and present it to her for morning to go straight out. So handling these uniforms, I've been picking up variants of COVID. And how is that relevant to this watch? Well, I think it seems as though the watch, the temperature monitoring thing at night time when you're wearing it, I'd noticed a very slight uptick in temperature 2 days before I showed symptoms of COVID. Now, whether that's in my imagination or not, I don't know, and it's certainly not rated for that, I don't think. However, there it was. Yeah, I used to wear it. In bed. It triggered emergency services on one night, and it's doing the countdown. I wake up and it's doing the countdown to calling an ambulance, and I found it difficult to turn something like that off. And it's the same if you're doing a reminder or an alarm. You know, you're having a nap, set it for a timer. You can't just mash your finger down on the centre of the screen and it stops it. You've got to, you know, it's snooze or something or other here. You've got to have very fine motor control. It seems to me on the bottom there to do that. Can't see it. Wear glasses, you see. It's dark. In bed, it's dark. In the bedroom, also need glasses. So it would be useful if the screen was, you could just tap the screen and it just turned everything off. So, yeah, I mean, eventually turned all the health things off, all the health features off. Why did I do that? Well, you know, you become more and more focused, or at least I did, on those metrics, jumping up off the sofa every hour, you know, with the fitness thing. became fitter in the first part of having it, but it's actually making me suffer doing that because, as I say, I'm mid-70s on the approach to 80 there now. And in the end, I just turned it all off, and I felt a lot better personally without it on. Stopped doing the 14,000 or so steps, and actually feel better for that. Live in a house, so 50 or 60 times up and down the stairs every day. I don't have the so-called bungalow legs, whereby supposedly people become weak due to living in a bungalow. Well, the steps are a good exercise inside the house. I stopped wearing it in bed, turned all the fitness off, and I believe in focusing outward on the environment that you're in. I mean, when I was wearing the watch, I'm always looking at my watch, so how many steps have I done so far? Not really concentrating on the beauty of, what's going on around me in the outer world, as I call it. So I turned all that off. That improved the battery life anyway. And it's still on for such a thing as fall detection. I found that was quite useful, fall detection. But then again, can't always wear it. That's handy inside the house, for example. If you're my age, you went down or older, and you went down the stairs head first, with a bit of luck, this would trigger an ambulance. However, it triggered in the garden when I'm gardening, and one or two other times when I'm wearing it like that. So in the end, I had to stop wearing it gardening, even though it's inside a pair of gloves. The lawnmower's running away there. Can't hear it. Can't hear the watch as it's counting down to calling an ambulance. In the end, for peace of mind, I turned it all off. So mainly I use this for payments, but also if you look at the screen on it here, top right hand corner, UV level. Now it's mid-November in the UK. UV is 1, but I've also been out to places like tropical Australia. Very, very important, of course, out there to know what the UV is, because it ramps up very rapidly from 10 a.m. In the morning, where it would absolutely burn you to a crisp an hour, 2 hours later in the Northern Territory. Top left, wind direction from the west, 2 miles an hour. Couple that with the weather app, centre left there. You can see it's going to snow in very shortly. On the right there, you've got the actual outside temperature, which is 2 degrees. Centre bottom there is a shortcut to my wife's phone. Touch that, ring my wife. Bottom right, that's the sunset time tonight at 16:03, just south of Leeds. Bottom left, you've got the parked car, which I found is, you can use it. I've been in a car park at Manchester Airport, wondering about, with this turned on, trying to find the car. I found it a lot better to have an AirTag in the back of the car. I keep mine under the headrest at the back, so it's got a good view out above the, from an electronical point of view, get a better signal in and out than if you had it, for example, in the glove box. If I just touch the red ring there, it would immediately give my longitude and latitude, which would show where I am. So I won't do that. But mainly use this for paying for things, like I said. Extremely well made, like I said, that sapphire crystal on the front, and it had the Apple Care, like I said, didn't need it. Just a few probably little scratches around the titanium there, and what does it all matter really? It's a disposable piece of kit, really, isn't it? That in a few years' time you would you'd either sell it or sort of move it on. Now this has the oxygen sensor on it that's still active, by the way, unlike the second version of that. Regarding that patents dispute that allegedly is going on with Apple and the oxygen sensor at the moment. I never found it particularly useful. Sometimes it's quite worrying low oxygen at night time and so on, but so what? You wake up in the morning, fine. So looking at the strap on this watch, it's this strap. I'm not sure whether this is the original strap, and I'll just show you the two straps here. The one on the left came with the watch for sure. The one on the right, although you'll notice that that's not actually stretched out at the moment, the one on the right is definitely got wider spacings on it. Now, this watch, this strap it's got on at the moment, I bought from a well-known chain of well, you know, they sell second-hand smartphones and also electronic stuff like that, like cameras and so on. You might be guessing which one I'm thinking about, but I won't name it. And I bought it from there for about £18. And, you know, there's always the thought and the worry. I thought afterwards, after I'd actually bought it, you know, is it genuine Apple or not? You're looking at it, you can't really tell. It almost seems as though it's been made on separate machines. And yet, looking very closely, the weave of the thing seems to be almost identical. It worried me a bit afterwards. I thought, well, is it £18? Is it actually a knockoff? You know, if so, it's extremely good. It actually crossed my mind too late whether it was actually, you know, whether it's actually been nicked out of an Apple store or something and sold as new. I've stopped buying stuff like that anyway. But there it is. And here is the other one. Now, I just sort of tell you how I clean these straps. What I do is I get a mug, a drinking mug of cold water and a squirt of washing up liquid, stir it all up with a spoon and then immerse the strap in that, prod it about a bit with a spoon and leave the spoon holding the strap to the bottom of the mug so it doesn't surface, and just leave it for 24 hours. Then I get it out and I squeegee it between my fingers like that, squeegee it in and out, and you'll see the dirt actually coming out, and squeegee it like that. The main thing I think is to do it between your actual fingers and don't start rubbing it with a cloth, because if you start rubbing it with a cloth, I think it picks up, well, it might pick up bits, who knows. But between your fingers like that, you're not damaging it at all, are you? And I found that after 24 hours, then squeegee it out again, just between your fingers. Anything that says rub with fabrics, I don't believe in that at all. All this is done wet. Squeegee it like that between your fingers inside the soapy solution after soaking for 24 hours. Then squeegee it like that under a cold tap. Until then just leave it somewhere to dry. Don't put a hairdryer on it. Now, the reason I'm talking about cold water is that one of these straps, the original strap here, I actually put a squirt of washing up liquid in the bottom of a drinking mug, a coffee mug like that, then poured boiling water in and then dropped the strap in, squeegeed it, took it out and it shrunk. Allegedly it shrunk a couple of notches. Not to be recommended, so I looked it up afterwards. The stuff the strap's made of, allegedly it shrinks if you put boiling water in it. I mean, why wouldn't it, you know? So here it is, it's on sort of notch 6. And I've worn this the best part of 2 years. And look at that. I thought initially that these bands would wear and tear, especially where the hook there, the titanium hook goes through. But as you can see here, there's no damage to it at all that you can see visually, is there? And here, I worried about that fraying, but it hasn't done. And I think the big advantage of the Apple Watch all in, and I've worn it in some pretty extreme places regarding risk. The main area being locally near home. I mean, I've been out in Italy, I've been out in Australia, into Europe. The most worrying place is just around home, where I live in the UK, to be honest with you. But, you know, who's going to snatch this off your wrist, basically? They might snatch your phone out of your hand if you're not careful, but this is sort of fastened around your wrist like that. You can't imagine someone coming up to you and sort of stroking your wrist and distracting you and trying to get this off your wrist, can you? It'd be almost impossible, wouldn't it? Apart from the fact that no one would want it, because you can't really sew it on, can you, for any reason whatsoever. So I found it useful for fall detection there, accident like that, although I take it off for anything energetic like gardening, like I just said. Also, there's the crash detection on it, of course. You have a crash in the car, nobody's there, with a bit of luck, your iPhone's in your pocket. This is going to trigger emergency services, and I've seen on the news that people have died, you know, in crash situations in a wood and so on, where the car's gone off the road. People haven't been able to find them, searching for them 24 hours, 48 hours. If that happened, wearing one of these watches with a little bit of luck, or hopefully anyway, even without a bit of luck, it might trigger emergency services, mightn't it? So here is this extremely, I think, utilitarian Apple Watch Ultra, and in that sense, I mean, yeah, it's useful for everyday life. I mean, if you're sort of my age or older, if you're not interested in the health features, you more than get value from this, with the thought of the fall detection built into it, and that it would ring out. But it also sort of rings one of your contacts, so that might be your husband, wife, son, daughter, or a friend, or whoever. You know, if you fall somewhere, you know, the emergency services are rung, and at the same time, the phone call goes through to someone else. That's if you have either cellular on this, which I don't have. I don't have a SIM card on this. I just have it connected to the Apple Watch. So as long as the Apple Watch is in the house and within range, you know, if you do a head first down the stairs and this bangs, well, you know, it seems as though it would call for help. But again, the main thing is payments. And the other thing is living in an urban environment, which is reasonably high risk. You know, it's not something I don't think that's going to get snatched off your wrist. Might well get the phone snatched out of your hand, but this seems pretty securely anchored there. So that's the review. 2 years on. 2 years on. Battery about 91% there. Don't baby the thing, I just wear it on my wrist. So, okay then, so what has it sort of been exposed to? I mean, it's been exposed to tropical Australia, it's been out in the outback, it's been out in the desert, it's been on a boat at about 40 centigrade where I filmed some crocodiles. And if you want to see that video, if you look on my channel and you look at the Australia section and you look at the spectacular jumping crocodile cruise, you'll see me there. Well, you won't see me because I'm holding the phone doing the filming. But at the time of filming that, this watch is on the back of my left hand and it's burning me. You know, there's I'm on the deck of this boat, this alloy boat. It's about 40 centigrade in the shade, and the sun is burning down on this on the front of this watch. I should have really twisted it round to the underside of my wrist to do that. But it's been in some pretty extreme environments, and here it is. I suppose the surprising thing for me is how the actual watch straps have stood up to it. I mean, as long as you don't drop them in boiling water like I did with that one, you can see this one seems better, doesn't it?